Hi, and welcome to the Curst Rate Tracker tutorial. In this episode, we'll be covering how to use the manual tracker controls. I'll be working under the assumption that you know the basics of what the CRT does and how a DKP system works. To learn more about that, please refer to the link above. Also, this guide is targeted at DKP administrators who will need the Can Manage DKP permission to use the functions we'll be covering. The first thing we need to do is to select how you want to track your data, manually or with an add-on, and to create a pool to hold your rate info. In this case, make sure you select manual tracking. Name your pool and then your currency to get started. Once you create your pool, you'll be taken to the rate dashboard. Here you can see all the information about your pool, standings, attendance, loot, and raids, summarized for your convenience. Given that this is a new pool, there's no data. Let's change that by creating a raid. Do so by clicking the Create Raid button and naming your raid. The Create Raid page lets you enter in all the information that's collected in a raid. You can enter the DKP value of a raid, which is how much each attendee receives, or use a zero-sum option, which divides all DKP spent by all the attendees. You can add bosses by selecting the instance and boss and hitting the Add Boss button. Add attendees to the raid by selecting from the guild list on the left and using the arrow button to move them to the members attended list on the right. To remove characters from members attended, select them from the right list and use the arrow button again. Note that you can move multiple characters at once by control-clicking in either of the lists. The guild's members list is sorted alphabetically, so to find someone, all you have to do is click on the list and begin typing their name. The selection will go to their name automatically. You can swap between lists by selecting characters in both lists and using the arrow button. One last trick is that you can clear the entire members attended list using the Clear Selection button below. Now that we have our attendees, let's get to the loot. To add loot, simply select a character who will receive the loot from the drop-down menu. You then need to enter the item's cost and the item's name. By typing in the item's name, you'll be prompted to select from a drop-down menu. Be careful to avoid misspelling the item's name. I'll demonstrate this process by adding a few items to the raid. Similar to the attendees list, the characters drop-down is a list of the entire guild sorted alphabetically. Click the drop-down and begin typing the member's name to access them quickly and easily. Please note that the cost in this case charges that amount of DKP for the character. So in this case, if I put 25, the character is charged 25 points. Or if I put 100, the character is charged 100 points. Adjustments allow you to subtract or add points from characters for various reasons. Common uses for subtracting points could be for someone being late, not having their consumables, or of course for getting feared into an Ixia's whelps. You could also want to add a bonus DKP to someone for providing additional consumables for the raid or any other benevolent reason. Add an adjustment in the same way you add an item, by selecting a character, entering the adjustment amount, and then giving a reason for the adjustment. Once you're done entering all the information for the raid, finish the creation process by hitting the Update Raid Info button at the bottom of the page. You'll now be looking at the raid details page for the raid you just created. You can see all the information you added in table format. To delete or edit any of the entries, use the admin buttons in the left column. For example, if I accidentally entered that I won the cloak from Nefarian when our Warlock actually won it, I can use the edit function to change this. To delete a loot drop, character, or transaction, simply click the X button in the left-hand column and hit OK when prompted by the pop-up message. Get back to the RAID dashboard view by clicking the name of the pool at the top of the page. You'll now see the RAID dashboard page is populated with all the data entered by the RAID. You can see the top standings at the top, the attendance, graph of item distribution, and a lot of other data that we'll find useful. To view details of each of these items, click the View All Standings or View All Loot links in each section. You should also note that you can delete or edit entries from the dashboard as well. You don't actually have to enter the RAID view to do so. You can also create loot drops or transactions from the dashboard as well, using the buttons at the top of the page. That about wraps up our overview of the CRT manual tracking process. You should now be equipped with the basics of managing your guild's loot system. Happy tracking, everyone.